Variables Part 2 Basic Operators. In this lesson, we will cover basic operators like math operators and assignment operators. We will do all this using the variables we learned about in the last lesson. Let's start. I already created a new project for lesson 4 with a package, main, and I also already added the S class for the output. We will go to the final product zip and open the cheat sheet and go to the star that says basic operators. We will copy everything inside of it and paste it inside the main function. We will click Ctrl+Shift+I, Ctrl+I to fix the indentation of the code so it will look more elegant. If you want to see where it is, it's inside source, correct indentation, Ctrl+I. It's also in the final product zip in the shortcut file. Okay, let's start. At the top, at line 8, we declare 4 variables: x, y, z, and I. I is assigned the number 1. We also declare 3 strings, A, B, and C. The names doesn't matter, so I gave them names of letters. For the number 1s, I gave them x, y, z like the variable they used in algebra lessons, and the ABC just because. Okay, now let's say I want to add 1 to I, so it will be 2. The way they used to write it is like this: I is equals to I plus 1. This is very long and unelegant and ineffective. Let's delete that. To add 1 to increment I by one number, we will use the ++ operator, which is also called increment. Let's output it so you will see what it does. You remember that I at the start is equals to 1, and after we increment it once, it should be 2. So let's run it, and you will see 2 in the console. Now let's say we want to de-increment, to reduce I by one number, so it will be 1 again. We will use the - operator, and as you can see after we run it, I is equals to 1 again. As you can see, we output I here. Let's de-increment it again, I -, and copy the output function with the I. And after we will run it, you will see 0. 1 - 1 equals 0. Okay, next. Let's say we wanted to increment I by 3. How do we do it? Should we write something like I is equals to I plus 3? That's also unelegant, but you don't have a single operator for each number. So the way you do this is using the add assign operator, which is plus and equals. If you remember, equals means assign. Plus in this case means add 3 to I. So if we will again output I again here, you will see that it will be equals 3, because here I equals 0 I will put it in a comment for you. And now I will be equal 3, as you can see. And you can also deassign, reduce a number from an int or a double. In our example, we use ints. So this is minus a sign. Let's say 4. Now I will be equals to -1 because 3 minus 4 equals to -1. As you can see, it outputted -1. Now we will cover the other variables. Here I want to show you how to do other operations, math operations with the variables we created. For x we assigned the number 2, for y we assigned the number 5. Here I reassign x to 1 plus y, so it will be 6. Once you reassign a variable, the older value is deleted, so x is no longer equals to 2, it equals to 6 because 5 plus 1 is 6. Let's output x. We will remove the I and put x instead. As you can see, 6. Now for z, I wanted to assign to it a more complex math operation. So this will return 4 because it will calculate whatever is inside the parentheses first, which is 1 plus 1, and the multiplication sign in programming is the star sign. So let's change the I to Z and run the program again. As you can see, 4. Here we reassign Z to something else. 10 divided by 2. The operator for division is the /. So let's output it and you will see that it will divide 10 by 2 and you will get 5. As you can see, outputting variables is very useful because you can see their values, so it's very useful for debugging. Now for the ABC, I did something else. It's not numbers. If you remembered, we declared the variables way up here. ABC are of type of string. So A is lorem, its value is lorem, B's value is ipsum, and C adds both of them. Now, if we output C, we will get lorem ipsum. In this case, it's not mathematical addition. It's an addition of strings. You've seen me do it before in the input lesson. Let's see where it is. Here, I add this string to this number using this plus. Here it doesn't mean plus, it means adding, it means to increment this number to this string. This can be done inside the output function. You can add a string to a number because it gets a more primitive data type, which is an object. Let me show you. You see, an object. The S is an object inside the O function. Don't worry if you don't understand this. I'm just showing you what everything does. You don't need to understand everything now. You only, for now, only focus on the understanding variables and operators. So let's use SO on C, and it will output lorem ipsum It doesn't have a space, so it incremented the ipsum directly after the lorem. So let's add a space. Lorem ipsum with a space. Okay, let's go back and recap what we've done. We declared our variables. We assigned a value to I in the same line where we declared that I is an int. And then we incremented I by 1. And then we de-incremented I by 1. And then we de-incremented it again, so it became 0. And then we used the add assign operator to add 3 to i's current value, which is 0. And after that we use the minus assign to reduce the number of I by 4. And after that we gave values to x and y and did a simple math of operation between them. In Z we did a bit more complex math operation with parentheses to calculate the 1 plus 1 first and then multiply it by 2. And then we did the division operation. And here we assigned strings to the string variables, and in C we assigned the value of A plus B, which here it doesn't actually means plus in a mathematical sense. Here we are just adding two string variables. And that's it for this lesson. If you didn't understand anything, you can rewatch it, or you can leave a question in the Q&A, or contact me via a message, but Q&A is preferable. And that's it for this lesson.